Cherish your life's instrument. Hello, everyone. Today, we want to have an in-depth discussion about what is perhaps your most valuable asset, your physical and mental health. This discussion is based on a document provided by the Buddhist Practice Association in Australia, titled Guardians of the Life Symphony, The Truth About Food and Nurturing Body and Mind. This document prompts us to consider a very fundamental question. Just imagine, in front of you sits a violin, not just any violin, but a legendary Stradivarius, incredibly precious and priceless. If you owned it, how would you treat it? You'd be extra careful, right? It would be stored in the best case and regularly maintained by a master, with no risks taken. It is, after all, a unique and invaluable treasure. Now, let's turn to our own bodies. Aren't they also a priceless and unique instrument of life? Our bodies are the very foundation for experiencing the world and pursuing happiness. The document from the Buddhist Practice Association guides us to reflect on whether we truly treat our bodies with the same reverence and care we would give that famous violin. This analogy is both interesting and powerful, but in reality, it often seems to be the opposite. Every day, we make choices, especially about what we eat. These choices, in essence, are about selecting the maintenance materials for our life instruments. But often, we don't even realize it. Yes, this is easy to overlook. That leads to an interesting observation also mentioned in the document. For those who are health conscious, food can be a source of nourishment and protection. But for many, food can become what the document calls a swamp of beautiful sensations. This phrase is very vivid, isn't it? It refers to foods that look incredibly tempting and taste wonderful, but might contain hidden risks we're not aware of. We might be so focused on the flavor, satisfying a temporary craving, or just putting too much faith in a superficial sense of safety, that we unwittingly allow our bodies, this instrument, to be eroded. It's very easy to fall into this state. Think about it yourself. Have you ever felt, everyone eats this, so it must be fine? Or wow, this tastes amazing, I'll just eat it now. Or even just enjoyed it without worry because you weren't aware of the truth behind it? The result could be getting deeper and deeper into this so-called beautiful sensation. Yes, ignoring the subtle signals our bodies might be sending. This swamp of beautiful sensations you mentioned really hits on a crucial point. The environment we live in, especially our food supply chain, contains widespread but often hidden risks. The document also specifically highlights some potential threats. It mentions certain chemical substances as one of the 3 invisible destroyers. The document names glyphosate, but based on the scientific papers it cites, it more accurately refers to organophosphate pesticides like parathion and methylparathion. The effects of these substances are explained in detail in the studies cited in the document. We can take a closer look. For example, one toxicology review article compares these pesticides to a powerful signaling jammer. Imagine, once it enters our body, it's like a hacker invading your nervous system's communication network. Its mechanism, in simple terms, is to inhibit an enzyme called acetylcholinesterase. This enzyme acts like a signal switch. It's responsible for turning off a nerve signal once its transmission is complete, allowing nerves and muscles to reset and prepare for the next command. However, when these organophosphate pesticides arrive, they block this switch from working. The result is that the nerve signals don't stop. They fire continuously, like a car's accelerator getting stuck. That's a very bad situation. The result is that the muscles, glands, and organs receiving the signal become overstimulated and react uncontrollably. So, if you're exposed to a large amount of this pesticide at once, acute symptoms can appear. As described in the document, drooling, tearing, muscle twitching, convulsions, profuse sweating, heart rhythm disturbances, and difficulty breathing. In severe cases, it can even lead to paralysis of the respiratory system and be fatal. It's like all the traffic lights in a city suddenly fail. It's absolute chaos. The signal jammer analogy makes it easy to understand why it's so dangerous. That explains the acute consequences of massive exposure. But what we're usually more worried about is long-term, low-level exposure. Like the tiny residues we might encounter in our daily diet. Is that less dangerous? This is precisely the key issue and the focus of the other two cited papers. Even with long-term, low-dose exposure, the cumulative effect cannot be ignored. Another international toxicology review compares this situation to having chaotic messengers consistently messing up your neural network. Chaotic messengers? Yes. This chronic effect might not be as dramatic as acute, severe poisoning, but it can lead to memory loss, slowed reactions, and a lack of energy. Some animal studies have also confirmed that long-term, low-dose exposure has caused nerve damage. It doesn't paralyze you all at once, but slowly, bit by bit, erodes your system's function. A third study is even more interesting. It's like a long-term follow-up investigation, specifically looking at people with long-term exposure to these substances, but not at a level to cause acute poisoning. The results showed that even in these cases, long-term exposure still harms brain function, even without being poisoned. Yes, the specific manifestations might be a decreased ability to concentrate, poorer learning and memory, and less coordination for fine motor skills. It might even be linked to emotional issues, such as a higher risk of anxiety or depression. This damage is insidious. It happens quietly and isn't easily detected right away, but it has a profound impact on quality of life. You can imagine it as the lights in certain areas of your brain slowly and imperceptibly dimming. So, these organophosphate pesticides act like an invisible signal jammer. Whether it's a single massive dose or a slow, chronic erosion, they can disrupt our body's incredibly precise nervous system. The consequences range from muscle dysfunction and memory loss to emotional problems and even death. Yes, hearing all this, it seems our daily environment does contain hidden risks we need to be vigilant about. Learning this information might make you feel a little worried, perhaps even a bit helpless, as if you can't protect yourself. But remember, awareness of the risk is precisely the first step towards making a change and taking back control. As the document suggests, we are not completely passive. Awareness itself is a catalyst for change. The action steps proposed later in the document don't demand that we become perfect all at once. They emphasize that even under current conditions, we can still do something to reconnect with our health. Even a small action holds power. Exactly. The most important thing is, after understanding all this, what can we actually do? The document provides what I think is a very practical 3-step approach to help us regain a sense of control in our daily lives. What are the 3 steps? Step 1. Cultivate a healthy food for yourself or your own vegetables. Yes, this might sound a bit like a return to simplicity, but its meaning is quite deep. Even if you only have a small balcony or just a windowsill, you can try to grow some simple vegetables or herbs. Why do this? It's not just so you can eat a few bites of safe, homegrown food. More importantly, the process of growing helps us re-establish a direct connection with the source of our food. When you plant, water, and care for a seed with your own hands and watch life emerge from the soil, you develop a new respect and understanding for food. This is like personally selecting and preparing the purest maintenance materials for your life instrument. It brings a deep-seated sense of security. This is the most fundamental kind of protection. This re-establishment of connection is truly important. In modern society, we've grown more and more distant from the food production process, often only encountering the final product in a supermarket. Growing things ourselves, even on a small scale, can psychologically bring us closer to nature and remind us of food's true value. Step 2. Share your results and ID share. Yes, when you harvest what you've grown, even if it's just a few lettuce leaves, don't forget to share them with family and friends. Or it doesn't even have to be the food itself. You can just share your ideas, I've started growing my own food. I'm starting to pay attention to where my food comes from. This idea itself can be shared. Every act of sharing is a transmission of care and a transmission of awakening. It's like dropping a small stone into a calm lake. The ripple slowly spreads. One person influences a few people. One family inspires another. This sharing can converge into a positive force, forming a good cycle and promoting the common growth of a small community. This also touches on the concept of community resilience. When individuals begin to pay attention to and share healthy ideas and practices, the network of mutual support within the community becomes stronger. This sharing is not just about physical items. It's an exchange of information and awareness that helps everyone better cope with external risks. Step 3. Learn knowledge and spread the truth. Once you've gained a better understanding of the truth behind food, don't hesitate to share it. You don't have to be an expert. Just share the facts, the scientific discoveries, or the information we discussed today in your own way with the people around you. You can imagine that each of us is a member of the Guardians of the Life Arts Alliance. We share maintenance secrets with each other, exchange tips on how to identify risks, and better care for our unique masterpieces. Every sincere sharing is an invitation for more people to join this movement, together raising society's overall health awareness. It's what we often call the fulcrum where individual action can leverage change. This 3-step approach truly forms a positive cycle that expands from within, starting with individual action, moving to community interaction, and then to broader awareness. It emphasizes that even in a seemingly complex environment, individuals still have agency and can improve their own lives and the environment around them through concrete actions. That's right. Now let's push this concept even further. The document essentially guides us to adopt a more proactive, even creative, approach to health. What does that mean? It means not just passively choosing healthy foods and doing the right exercise, but to proactively and consciously shape and care for our bodies, like an artist with their work. The artist and the masterpiece analogy is back. Yes, here we actually play a dual role. On one hand, our body is that precious Stradivarius, a priceless masterpiece. It requires the highest quality raw materials, healthy food, clean water and air, and meticulous maintenance, such as sufficient rest, a peaceful mind, and moderate exercise. If you use inferior materials or neglect its upkeep, this masterpiece will naturally fade and be damaged more quickly. That's easy to understand. On the other hand, we ourselves are the performers, the artists. We need to learn how to play this life instrument well and how to master the techniques for maintaining this masterpiece. A skilled artist can make their work shine with dazzling brilliance, while an unconscious or unskilled owner might unintentionally damage it. This artisan work analogy is truly inspiring. It also helps us understand why different people might react so differently to the same health advice or environmental factors. We can look at this in 2 layers, the so-called raw materials and artistic skills. What 2 layers? One can be called physiological constitution. This is like the foundation of a masterpiece or the wood of an instrument, our innate physical basis. It might determine our sensitivity and tolerance to certain foods, environmental toxins, or life stresses. Everyone's foundation is different, so their reaction to the same materials or changes in humidity will naturally vary. That makes sense. Our natural foundation. The other can be called psychological constitution, or our inner strength. This is more like the artist's technique, experience, and willpower. It relates to our cognitive level, emotional management ability, self-discipline, and the determination we have to make and stick with changes. This explains why some people find it easier to adjust their diet and stick to exercise, while others might need more support and self-motivation. This essentially involves the artist's own inner cultivation and their dedication to the creative process. This interpretation is brilliant. The physiological. and psychological layers together constitute the uniqueness of our life masterpieces and determine the potential of our creativity as artists. So today, as we explore this document from the Buddhist Practice Association in Australia, its core goal is to help you, on one hand, recognize the potential risks behind food, and on the other, see that even in a challenging environment, we can still regain control over our health by raising our awareness and taking proactive action. Ultimately, the goal is to invite you to use a more positive and joyful mindset to see yourself as the artist of your own body. From today, use wisdom to choose your raw materials, use actions to practice maintenance, and carefully care for, nourish, and even sculpted this unique masterpiece the universe has given us, allowing it to continue to play a harmonious and beautiful symphony of life. This is not asking us to achieve perfection overnight. The key is to start taking action. So finally, we want to leave you with a thought today, right now. What small actions can you take to cultivate a higher quality, pure set of maintenance materials for your own life instrument? Perhaps you can start with what you choose for your next meal.